I'm keeping a big secret from my husband. These past few years have been hard on us both financially and emotionally, but through it all he has stood by me and supported us when my check can't cover a full half of the bills. I've recently come into some money to pay off both our credit cards, pay half of our expenses and have a good start to a savings, and he's very grateful for that even though I feel like he's done so much more for us. What he doesn't know is that there's a brand new Xbox waiting under the tree for him. He deserves it more than anyone I know. 3 weeks until I don't have to hide this from him anymore. I probably have the weirdest desire a human ever had, everyone that knows won't understand me. I hope Reddit will. I don't know how to start my story, so I'll just start by introducing the background and a little bit about myself. I'm Chinese, born and raised in China mainland. When I was a young boy, through some family connections, I got a trip to a local ostrich farm. In the middle of the very nice tour they gave us, the farm owner said to us, we have a few special trained ostriches that can carry an exceptional amount of weight while running in a rather fast speed. Is the boyaka me if you didn't notice? Interested? X200B oh fuck yet. X200B so I rode a fucking ostrich, the best of their kind, fastest of the fastest. Speed king of the Helianthus garden as they call him in Chinese. X200B okay, so here's something I think you might not know about those fast and furious fuckers. 1. They mad when somebody who they don't deem worthy ride them. 2. They mad about basically fucking everything. 3. They will try to attack you whenever they are mad, under any circumstances. 4. They are loyal to the farm owner though. 5. When they run at a fast speed, their wings will open uncontrollably, so if you sit on their back, you're fucked, and also this is why there isn't an ostrich saddle. X200B so basically I had to ride an ostrich who's trying to kill me at all cost on the fucking neck, with my leg clinched around his neck, while it's running at 70 km per hour because the owner nicely asked him to. X200B the speed. The excitement. The wind through my hair. The concentration I needed to keep my balance. And the fear of falling off and get fucking stomped to death by a special trained muscular lunatic fucking ostrich. X200B what can I tell you? That moment when I reached the other end of the track. X200B I felt more than alive. X200B that's the exact moment when I got the obsession of having my own racer ostrich. X200B so, my story continues. X200B I moved to Canada to study at the time that equals to second year of high school in North America, and the second year I got there, I started living alone. Unlike in China, school ends very early in Canada, so I have a load of spare time. X200B what did I do? Isn't that fucking obvious? I got a fucking ostrich. X200B it was a baby ostrich cuz you have to bond with them when they were young or they won't let you ride them, but it wasn't like straight from an egg. Like 3 to 5 weeks maybe? I didn't know better at that time. X200B it was all fun and giggles until the day I thought she was grown enough for me to ride her. X200B she did let me ride her, and she would stand up, but she refused to move. X200B it was due to 2 main reasons I think. 1 I didn't raise her the right way so she wasn't strong enough. 2 due to the nature of aging. I then was a fat fuck. X200B it crushed my heart and scrambled all my dreams and feelings. I was dead inside, there's nothing for me to live for at the time. X200B I didn't recover until I gave up studying and returned to my home country, where I will be living as a regular everyday normal Chinese dude. X200B but, I still have a beating heart. X200B my dream never ends, it's everything I live for. I will be wealthier, I will do anything that I resented. I will pay any cost that I have to pay, I will climb higher, I will gain all the fucking power that I need, I will lick the anus out of the connection I need, so that one day, I can personally own and ride a racer ostrich legally, in a city. X200B thank you all for reading. This was written a while ago, by the time I posted this, I now legally own a pair of peacocks. I am now one step closer to my dream. Wish me luck, and wish you luck. X200B hope you achieve whatever you wanted to achieve one day. X200B Solivitas, regular Chinese dude, at the end of 2019. To my girlfriend, I'm sorry you fell asleep next to me while we were lying in bed. My hand fell asleep while I was playing the Switch and I dropped the Joy-Con on your face. I can't believe you didn't wake up, that thwack was brutal. Love you. I can't wait until my boyfriend isn't my boyfriend anymore. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. for work yesterday, he made sure I went to bed on time. Then I felt sick on my way home, so he met me at the train station and walked me home, and carried my bags. He made me tea as soon as I got in, and let me rest before making dinner for me. Then before bed I said that my body was sore and he gave me a shoulder massage and made sure I put my phone down and got a decent sleep. He does this shit every day, and doesn't ask me for anything. I still do it all back. I can't wait until he's my husband. I cried in my girlfriend's arms today my girlfriend of 7 months, and I went out to eat and we had a really great time. We came home afterwards and snuggled up on the couch for a few hours. We were lying down and I put my head on her chest and she started stroking my hair and I just started crying. I don't know why, I don't really cry often. I wasn't sad, I guess I'm just not used to being really cared for like that. I've been in some not so great relationships in the past and my mom was never really caring for me, so I felt really vulnerable. I felt like my suit of armor was just dissolved by this one girl and I was fine with it. She truly cares about me and I truly care about her. I sobbed into her shoulder like a baby for hours and she just held me closer. I think I really love this girl. Ugly. I've always known I was ugly. That's what I have been told since I was a small child. My older sisters are beautiful. They are thin. I've been told I was fat for as long as I can remember. I can still feel the shame of listening to my mother tell every doctor, every nurse, every corpsman we were military dependents, that she was horrified by my weight and asking for advice on how to make me lose it. However, nothing was ever actually done to help me. So starting around the age of 5, I was supposed to follow whatever diet they recommended, on my own, with no intervention, and no change to the family's routine. I was even given the job of cooking for the family. I cooked my first Thanksgiving dinner, alone, at the age of 11 because my mother was in the hospital. I learned to cook what we had, heavy starchy, meat and potatoes kinds of meals that the others seemed to be able to eat without gaining an ounce. I tried not to eat as much, but it was hard when it was something I liked and everyone else was eating. Also, regardless of whether we liked what was served to us, or if we were hungry or not, we had to clean our plates. If we didn't, we would be made to sit at the table until we finished. I remember falling asleep onto my plate more than once. I can still feel my tears of utter humiliation when we would shop at one of the 2 clothing stores in our tiny town. We would inevitably run into someone we knew. I wanted to drop dead as listened to Mom's voice carry over the partitions of the dressing room, talking to my classmates, their mothers, people from our church, anyone really. She'd be okay if she just lost some weight. I just don't know what to do with her, there's nothing that fits. I would hide in the changing room as long as I possibly could, in the hopes that whomever she was talking to, and everyone that heard her voice as clearly as I did, would have finished and left, so I didn't have to face them. There should have been plenty of clothes to fit me, but my mother would only choose the sizes that should fit, not what actually did. As a result, I rarely got anything new. I remember during my first 2 years of high school, I had exactly 2 shirts and 2 pairs of pants. If I wasn't a target for my weight, I certainly was for my wardrobe. You just can't wash clothes that often and expect them not to fall apart. Especially when they were cheaply made to begin with. When I was old enough to earn my own money, I started buying my own clothes. That started an obsession that follows me to this day. I have way more clothing than any human should ever need, and yet I still compulsively buy more. I never heard the word pretty, certainly never beautiful in reference to me. Just that I could look okay if I lost weight. Even on occasions when I was dressed up for a special event, the highest compliment I was ever deserving of, was to look presentable or to be told rarely that I looked nice. The thing was, I didn't realize until many years later, that when I was young, I was chubby, but not horribly overweight. I actually could and did, fit in my sister's hand-me-down clothes. They were just a bit more snug than they were on my sister's. But as long as I can remember, I thought I was huge, disgusting, and repulsive. Even in high school though, I think of the size I wore then, and realize, I wasn't as big as I thought I was. I was on the high end of normal, but in my mind I was surely the fattest pig in the universe. The first person I actually remember saying I was pretty was when I was a grown woman, in my 30s, working. We had a web page with our bios, and as a joke one time we changed all our photos to pictures of ourselves as babies. I brought in a school photo of myself when I was about 8 or 9 years old. It was the only solo photo of myself that I could find in my parents' collection, so I used it for the bio, even though it wasn't actually a baby picture. I was wearing a dress that had been my sister's but it fit me, and I actually liked it. My hair was long, parted at the side and tucked behind my ear. I hated having my picture taken, but this time the photographer caught a natural smile. I remember at the time, my mom saying the dress was too tight. When the page was published, a lady I worked with was looking at all the pictures, and not knowing I could hear her, remarked, "Oh, what a pretty little girl." When I saw she was looking at my picture, I had to leave the office and hide in the bathroom to cry. I had never heard anyone say that about me before and it almost brought me to my knees. I saw the picture for the first time through a stranger's eyes, without any bias, and I simply saw a pretty little girl. I really wish I had known her. Please stop asking me what my kids are. Husband is white. I am black. I always get the questions of, are they mixed? Or do they have the same dad? And even, are those your kids? Of course, I just smile and answer these questions nicely when in reality, I should tell them to F off. It's like, are you kidding me? Mind your damn business. What are they? They're kids. That's what they are. I'm so tired of sex and nudity in TV shows, movies. I understand that sex sells, but if I wanted to watch someone have sex, I'd watch porn. In my opinion, most of the nudity and sex is unnecessary and it turns me off of the movie show. I just want to watch something with a good plot, good characters, etc. I don't want to see a pair of tits in every fucking movie I watch. And I feel like Netflix, Hulu, HBO etc. have especially gone off the rails with this. I have a massive crush on my wife of 10 years. My wife and I have been together for quite some time. We first met when I went to a friend's house, who was Skyping with her. They met online, never in person. That night, we talked and the attraction was almost immediate. Her smile, her eyes. Even talking about it now sends me into a trance. We eventually met in person when she flew down to see my friend and myself. It was surreal. After high school, I packed my Nissan Pathfinder with my computer, clothes, 500, and a Garmin GPS she mailed to me, and I left. Drove 15 hours straight to her doorstep. She ran out the front door and nearly tackled me with a hug. I never looked back. It feels like we've endured everything together ever since. Went through college together, moved back and forth between our home states at least 3 times, we gave up dreams for each other, had a kid, moved to 3 different states in the span of 2 years afterwards, had another kid. It wasn't all happy either. There have been times I woke up and thought, holy crap, I'm gonna be waking up next to her the rest of my life. We've endured abuse in different forms. Life got very dark between us. We reached rock bottom together. We screamed, threw things, etc. but we remained as open and honest as possible. We didn't give up. We stuck it through. We found forgiveness. We found a new love for each other. Now, the last few months since the birth of our second child, we've grown closer than we could have imagined. It's like I've fallen for her all over again. I wake up excited to see her. I'm not foolish to think this won't end, and I'm fully ready to go through whatever else life throws our way. I'm just posting this here because if you're going through a dark time with your spouse, just endure it. Go through that hell together. In most cases, you will both come out stronger. Keep going. It's not worth throwing it all away over a rough patch. Keep on keeping on. Peace out for now. I saved 45% of my income this year. Today I did a little records checking and it turns out I have saved almost 45% of my annual income this year. Although the term saved can be misleading here because 23% of that amount went towards paying off my mortgage, but I would like to think of it as savings since the house has increased in value and has reduced the rent costs. I now have 3 months worth emergency fund, a first time thing for me. I have always had a spending problem and was used to living paycheck to paycheck despite making decent money. But this year I decided to grow up. I stopped using my credit cards and stopped buying garbage on Amazon. All this after giving financial help to my family. TBH, I am pretty proud of myself. This is a small win, but I wanted to share this achievement with someone. Next year I want to save 50%. That's my New Year declaration. I told my boyfriend how I was born from incest. His reaction was beautiful last night. I told my boyfriend of 2.5 months that I was born from incest. My mother and her brother had an fling and he got her pregnant. I was put up for adoption. I sat him down on the bed last night and said that I had something important to tell him and that we had reached a point where he needed to know. As I told him, he held my hand through the whole story and my struggles with it. I cried for a good while and he held me close and comforted me. He told me that there was nothing for me to be ashamed of, I was innocent, there was nothing gross about me, and that I was the most beautiful person he has ever met. That brought me to tears again, and he just held me. Eventually he kissed me on the top of my head, and I kissed him on the lips. We started making out and things escalated. We ended up having sex for the first time. It was the most beautiful thing imaginable, right out of movie. Neither of us expected that to happen, but it was something we both were wanting to do for a while. The next morning he left early for work, but he left a handwritten note reaffirming everything he had told me the night before. He also invited me to his flat tonight for dinner and said that I was welcome to bring a change of clothes. I planned to. I passed my exam. I'm a nursing student who cannot afford to pay for school without aid. I work, but I can only cover my rent, car, and other bills like utilities, food and my phone. This semester I recently had my financial aid taken away due to reaching the maximum time frame. I took dual credit courses in high school to go towards my degree that my high school paid for. Apparently that counts towards the credits financial aid could cover. I appealed, and under the circumstances it will most likely be reinstated, but only if I pass all of my courses this semester. I was on the edge for one particular course. Keep in mind, at my school, 77 to 79 is AC, anything below a 77 is failing. I was teetering on the line of passing or failing. It all came down to a final exam I took yesterday. After completing it, I was a bit unsure of how I did. Instructors said grades would be posted last night. After checking and rechecking every hour, it was finally posted half an hour ago. I passed. All that stress of worrying about how I'm going to afford school if I failed is lifted. I'm beyond excited. I'm one step closer to being a nurse. Update: I29FM proposing to my boyfriend 32M. I ordered his ring on the Zales website and had complimentary 2-day shipping. It took 3 days to get here, but it arrived safely. So we made plans to walk down the dock at a nearby park on the water, which we typically do once a month, and then grab pierogies afterward. We were walking down the dock and my heart is beating out of my chest, my mouth gets really dry, and I'm shaking because it's cold and I'm nervous as hell. When we got to the end of the dock, I asked him to unscrew my chapstick. I snatch the ring from my wristlet and get down on one knee. I asked him if he would allow me to be his wife. He said yes, and we ate pierogies before going to Zales to get a bigger size on his ring and to pick mine out. We then got Dairy Queen to make the day even sweeter. After 15 years, I'm finally getting my own bedroom. I grew up dirt poor, and I'm still dirt poor, so nothing's ever really been normal for me. My parents and I always shared a bed since we lived in a run-down trailer with no space, and I've never had my own room, much less been able to have any sort of thing that was mine and mine only. When I was young, I would always fantasize about having my own room, and imagining decorating it with my mom and setting things up. We moved into a better trailer recently, and a while back we cleaned out a junk room in it, and that's just kind of been my place to chill and listen to music and draw, but I've been sleeping in the living room with my parents since that room was just an old dingy stained carpet with a blanket, small heater, and wooden chair in it. Earlier today, I overheard my parents talking, and I found out that I'm getting a loft bed frame with a built-in desk. My little place to chill is actually gonna be my very own room. It feels like a dream come true right now because I'm finally going to have something that everybody else has. I'm finally gonna have my own space to sleep that's gonna be all mine, and I'm going finally get to decorate my room. If I'm lucky, I might be able to save up and buy some paint to repaint the walls. I know that having at least a room, or at least a bed, is a pretty standard thing to have, but that's why I'm absolutely over the moon. I've never had this kind of sense of normalcy before. My parents always spoiled me with clothes and games and expensive frivolities, but I never got any necessities. In middle school, I was lucky if I got a shower every 3 months because my parents never bothered to clean out our bathroom, but things are getting better. They're getting normal, and there's nowhere to go but up. I've cooked all 3 daily meals from home for the past 7 days. I'm really proud of myself. It's been very hard tbh. I used to eat out for all 3 daily meals, so this is a big thing for me. The best part is I've saved a lot of money, and I feel healthier. The worst part is all the dishes, lol. My husband said something that made me cry. Last night my husband said something in his sleep that made me cry. He told me how happy he was to see me happy again. A little context: the last year has been really hard on both of us. I have a slew of mental health issues and it's affected me more than him, I know. This past January we found out something was wrong with our fetal daughter. She had a fatal genetic abnormality and the doctors didn't think she'd live past infancy if she survived the pregnancy. We lost her in April. Since then I've been having a rough time getting over the death. She was my first long-term pregnancy. I have had 2 miscarriages and once I found out I was pregnant again it was hard. But after I got past the 11-week mark the first began to feel better. Then getting a diagnosis that was that devastating just broke me. Giving birth to a still baby broke me more. For months I struggled to get out of bed. I had flashbacks of the labor. I would get triggered from babies crying in public or on the TV and would start to cry. I'd stay in bed all day. I was just miserable and in a deep dark depression. I've suffered through childhood trauma, and I believed that the world just wanted me dead. I became suicidal and extremely anxious about everything. I just didn't want to go on with my life like that. Drinking as much as I could, taking painkillers, just a mess. Then in August I missed my period. I took a at-home pregnancy test and it was positive. I thought okay, but these are a year old from my previous pregnancy, I'll get more. Got 3 different types. All positive. Went to the doctor to confirm and they decided to see if we could see it with an ultrasound. Yup, there was a baby. I'm sure it happened at my brother-in-law's wedding. My husband and I both drank, they had it at a winery for God's sake. And I'm sure we didn't use any protection. I was afraid. I have been depressed and anxious since. I told my husband that I couldn't lose another pregnancy. This was my 4th. And I had no children. I cried so much. I was so anxious about everything. Then this Friday came out anatomy scan. We found out something was wrong at our anatomy scan with our daughter. I was so afraid. Everything was perfect. Baby was growing at the correct rate, brain was forming correctly, everything was going so well. And we found out we're having a boy. I'm still in a bit of shock at the boy part, but since then I've felt this weight lifted off my shoulders. This baby will be born, he'll live. I didn't even notice how happy I was and how different my emotions have been. I cried when my husband said, "I'm so happy you're happy again. I was so worried for you. I'm just so happy for you to feel happy again." He was half asleep when he said this. It made me begin to cry and he asked me what was wrong. I said I'm just happy and he said, "I am too." It really put into perspective on how much he really loves me. Sorry this was so long. I appreciate it if you made it through though. Today, I lost my virginity, and my purity ring. I'm 20. I made a promise that I would wait until marriage. That was always something that was told to me. But in the back of my mind, I knew that I was just going to wait for the right guy. Overall, it all built a mountain of an unnecessary pile of anxiety and upset guys. But, I found someone that makes me feel safe. When I was in high school, I had an incident where a guy tried to hurt me sexually and ever since then I never felt safe alone with a guy. But I found Tyler and everything changed. It just feels right when I'm with him. We talk every single day. And before we were even romantically involved he was there when I was with other guys. When I talk to him on the phone at night, my nightmares go away when I sleep. He just makes things better. I went over to his place today and we had sex. None of us expected it to happen today but I wanted it. I thought I would be an emotional wreck after but I feel the same. I let go of my virginity defining who I am and I feel so powerful now. I've been off drugs for 1 year today. I don't think the people in my life understand the significance of this anniversary, so obviously I'm hoping Reddit will. Last year I was homeless, broke, hungry, miserable and hopelessly addicted to fent and cocaine. Each day was a cycle of stealing to sell things to buy drugs and hopefully have enough left over to split a motel room with other addicts. If I couldn't afford that, I found a trap house just to stay warm. Trouble is, you don't dare sleep with addicts around, they're thieves. But who needs sleep when you have coke? You don't need much food either, but when I had to, I stole that too. There wasn't one specific incident that made me walk away. I was just tired of barely surviving. I decided to call my mom and she welcomed me in to get clean. I quit cold turkey. I was the sickest I've ever been for days, though I don't remember a lot of it. The ER prescribed benzos to get me through the worst of it, which my mom kept on her and handed me pills. Finally, we went to a clinic where they started me on Suboxone. OMG, I couldn't believe how it helped. It only took about 9 to 10 months to wean off the subs and I've been completely clean since. I still don't feel like I'm 100% better, but I'm getting there day by day. I'm finally getting my life back. I have hope. If you're addicted to a substance, there is hope, you can be better. Because literally anything is better than living like that. Feel free to ask questions. Message me if you wanna chat. I don't have all the answers, but I might have a couple that could help. I found the rope I wanted to kill myself with last year. For the record, I'm okay now. I can definitely say I'm doing good, even if not everything in my life is steady right now. Last year, I was going through really hard stuff. Major family problems with loneliness and spring depression added on top. I honestly haven't been more on the edge as I was back then. I desperately wanted to end it, I planned it out. I wrote the notes. But in the end, I couldn't find the rope. It was just nowhere to be found. Fast forward to now, I'm at my grandpa's place, just casually taking my coat off after coming home from a night out. I open the coat closet, and there it is. The thick sailing rope that was supposed to end it all. I just stood there, staring at it. I couldn't move. It's just so crazy to think about. Just 1 year ago, I was seriously about to go through with it. I wouldn't have been able to meet all the new amazing people I met this year, I wouldn't have experienced all the new things I never experienced before. I just wouldn't have been there for anything. I would have been gone. Such a scary thought. Well, now, it is so scary. I remember not feeling anything at all during that time, just being extremely numb. Only feeling this light tingling feeling from time to time, as if I was having an outer body experience. But inside my body. Compared to now, I can't understand how I could have been so dissociated. It just doesn't make sense. I feel so good now, how could have I been so low? I'm sure it will all come back in spring. It always does, just some years are better than others. But still. I'm glad I didn't kill myself. He died this morning and this is the first time I'm home without him. Tonight is going to be the worst night of my life. The man I've been head over heels in love with for 8 years died this morning going to work. I am in so much agony that I can't fucking breathe. My mom is flying here in the morning but I'm alone tonight. I can't stand being here but I can't afford a hotel room. I can see every little part of him here. His stuff is everywhere and it smells just like him. I keep feeling my ring on my finger and I can't stop crying. I'm 5 months pregnant with his child and it kills me that our baby can't meet his daddy. He was going to be the perfect dad. The only reason I'm not doing something awful to myself is for my child. I'm so heartbroken and it hurts more than anything I've ever felt. It's like he took every piece of my heart with him. It's so hard to explain how much it hurts. It feels like I'm dying but I'm not. I don't know what to do. We had everything together and I wish I could have kissed him longer this morning or told him to stay home or just anything different that could have saved him. I hate myself for not saving him. I wish I was dead instead of him so badly. He is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I want him back. I found out my boyfriend's secret, so me and my boyfriend have been dating for 6 months now and he plays the guitar. He mentioned that he wrote songs when we first started dating but not much after that. Yesterday he brought it up and showed me some and they were love songs about me. It made me start bawling. It's like I never realized how much he loved me. I will never be loved by anyone this much. He takes care of me when I have panic attacks and helps me to laugh when I wanted to cry. I am going to marry him one day. I love you my darling. 3. My boyfriend broke up with me and I feel fine. My boyfriend of 2 years ended up breaking up with me a couple of days ago, and truthfully I feel fine, almost relieved honestly. I'm not really feeling down about it since TBH I've been thinking of breaking up with him for a couple of months. We ended it off because we wanted different things in the future, which is fine. I don't know, this has not really affected me in any way, it's exam season so I feel like I don't have much time to care about it. I hope this doesn't come across as heartless. I wish him the best and I love him but I do think we are better off not being together. It would be nice to use this time to focus on myself and do what's best for me. X200B just felt like talking about it. I'm a nice person and have always been nice to other people and one lesson I've learned is not everyone deserves your energy. I'm gonna be honest, regardless if you're nice to certain individuals or not, they are still gonna treat you funny. They already have this assumption of you. So just spend your niceness wisely. I made my boyfriend cry today. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. TBH, my boyfriend and I were in the room, and he was sitting on the bed shirtless playing PS4 and I was behind him giving him a massage and I just said, your skin is so pretty. And it is. It's soft and warm and he has no pimples, anywhere, it's smooth as heck. He just has freckles all over his body, mostly on his shoulders, back and face though. And he says no it's not, the freckles look dirty and ugly and I go to me it looks like you have constellations on your skin, you just have stars all over. And then I go on about how much I love his body, his hands, his features, and just everything about him. And he paused the game and he goes quiet. And now he is crying. He's all flustered and crying. Turns out he is pretty self-conscious of his body but his freckles is what he is sensitive about because he was constantly bullied for them. And he always looked so confident. I panicked and started crying with him. Now I've made him hot chocolate to comfort him. He hasn't stopped smiling, AMD tearing up from my cheesy compliments. And I'm just about melting because I've made the man I love cry with happiness like he has done for me countless times. This is really fast and the amount of times I've written the word and should be illegal but I have no friends and I wanted to share with someone. My fiancé and I decided to break up after 4.5 years, even though we still love each other. It was becoming clearer and clearer that we were better off as friends than lovers, but fuck, I'm going to miss his goofy ass so much. We both wish, so painfully, that it could have worked out. Once we realized what needed to happen, though, it was as though the tension building over the last weeks just evaporated. We were so strangely calm, though it wasn't long before the fearful new reality began to settle in. We've been cuddling and comforting each other for the past few hours and I've been crying like a baby pretty much all day. It hurts so fucking much, but yet in that painful catharsis there was no animosity. I wish the absolute best for him and wish our romantic relationship could have gone on forever. What survives is our friendship in the wake of a romance now gone. He says that our love just has to change shape. Though I am grateful for his kindness, it reminds me of why I fell in love with him in the first place. But we wanted completely different things out of life. We tried to compromise until the only thing that could be compromised was our happiness. We just weren't compatible as domestic partners. Being emotionally compatible only got us so far. We'll always look out for one another, but we can't force ourselves into being partners anymore. The bittersweet nostalgia of the last 4 years has been playing like a movie montage in my head, but with any luck the pain of the moment will subside with time and patience. Nonetheless, I look forward to a future where we can both be our authentic selves while also cherishing the beautiful memories we made together. Charlie, I love you and I always will. Have an absolutely amazing life.